From Washington, a rare and dramatic divergence between the United States and Israel has come into the spotlight. In a statement delivered from the White House, President Donald Trump made it clear that while defeating Hamas remains an essential objective, he does not support Israel's choice to launch a military strike inside Qatar. The words carry weight, not only because of the close partnership between Washington and Jerusalem, but because of the fragile role Qatar plays in regional diplomacy. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, reading from the official statement, framed the administration's position in unmistakable terms. She said, "Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal." Her remarks underscored the delicate balance, acknowledging Hamas as a legitimate threat while warning that Israel's strike may jeopardize American strategic interests. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. Rarely do US presidents publicly rebuke Israel over matters of military action. Historically, Washington has offered full-throated backing for Israel's right to defend itself, even when such actions spark controversy. But this time, the strike in Doha, Qatar's capital, crosses into a far more sensitive zone. Qatar is not only a diplomatic partner, but also the host of the Al Udeid Air Base, the largest American military facility in the Middle East. From this base, US forces launch missions across the region, including operations in Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. To strike inside Qatar, therefore, is not just an attack against Hamas, but an action that threatens to destabilize the very infrastructure of America's presence in the Gulf. The White House moved quickly, emphasizing that President Trump acted before the bombs fell. According to Leavitt, the president instructed his Middle East envoy, Stephen Witkoff, to immediately notify Qatari officials of the impending attack. This was an unusual step, suggesting that Washington wanted to minimize diplomatic fallout, even as it was unable to prevent Israel from moving forward. Still, the sense of regret was palpable in Leavitt's words. The president feels very badly about the location of this attack and continues to regard Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the United States. For observers, the statement raises difficult questions. Is this the beginning of a visible rift in US-Israel relations? Or is it a tactical disagreement managed carefully behind the scenes, but revealed publicly because of the extraordinary circumstances? Analysts note that while Trump was direct in his disapproval, he also reinforced Washington's commitment to eliminating Hamas. That dual message, firm rebuke on tactics, reaffirmation on goals, is designed to hold both sides of a precarious balance. To understand the depth of this issue, one must consider Qatar's unique role. For years, the Gulf monarchy has walked a tightrope, hosting senior Hamas officials while simultaneously serving as a mediator in negotiations between Hamas, Israel, and Western governments. This positioning, controversial as it may be, has allowed Qatar to broker temporary ceasefires, arrange humanitarian corridors, and negotiate hostage releases. Without Qatar, those channels would likely collapse. By striking in Doha, Israel risks pushing Qatar away from its mediating role, something Washington fears would have disastrous consequences for both diplomacy and stability in the region. The reaction in Doha has yet to be formally announced, but regional experts suggest Qatar is furious. For a country that prides itself on its sovereignty and global diplomatic clout, an Israeli strike on its soil is more than an act of aggression. It is an insult. Qatari officials are likely to pressure Washington for guarantees that such actions will not be tolerated again. If those guarantees are not forthcoming, Qatar may recalibrate its partnerships, including with the United States, in ways that could reshape the regional order. The episode also shines light on the broader debate about how to deal with Hamas. Israel's strategy has long been rooted in the belief that eliminating Hamas leadership, wherever they may be, is essential to its security. Washington agrees with the end goal, but insists that methods matter. Bombing inside the capital of an allied nation undermines broader objectives, risks alienating partners, and could even create new opportunities for Hamas to exploit diplomatic divides. This is not the first time Israeli tactics have drawn criticism in Washington. Previous administrations, too, have occasionally bristled when Israeli military actions complicated US diplomatic efforts. But this case is different. Rarely does the White House speak so bluntly on the record to reject Israel's choice of target. That rejection marks a significant moment in the relationship, one that may have lasting implications. The timing is particularly sensitive. Across the Middle East, tensions are high. Negotiations over ceasefires in Gaza remain fragile. Hostage situations involving both Israelis and Palestinians are unresolved. Regional powers from Egypt to Turkey to Saudi Arabia are jockeying for influence. In this crowded diplomatic theatre, Qatar has been one of the few consistent players willing to engage all sides. Undermining Doha's position could unravel what little stability exists. Inside the United States, Trump's stance will also resonate politically. Support for Israel is traditionally strong among both Republicans and Democrats, but there is growing debate about the costs and consequences of Israel's military actions. By rejecting the strike in Doha while maintaining support for the mission to defeat Hamas, Trump is attempting to craft a narrative of strength tempered with restraint. Whether this balance satisfies domestic audiences remains to be seen. In Israel, meanwhile, the reaction to Washington's words will be closely watched. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has built much of his career on the foundation of unwavering American support. A visible fracture, even a small one, threatens that image. Yet Netanyahu may also see this as an opportunity. By demonstrating independence from Washington, he could appeal to domestic audiences who value Israel's sovereignty above alliance politics. For Hamas, ironically, the incident may provide propaganda fuel. Already isolated and targeted, the group will point to disagreements between Israel and the United States as evidence that even Washington is uncomfortable with the methods used against them. That narrative, if it gains traction, could complicate international efforts to isolate Hamas diplomatically. What happens next will depend on the diplomacy unfolding quietly behind closed doors. Washington will likely seek assurances from Israel that further strikes inside allied capitals are off the table. Qatar, for its part, will press for respect of its sovereignty, possibly leveraging its influence in ongoing negotiations. And Israel will continue to insist that wherever Hamas leaders hide, they remain legitimate targets. The challenge for President Trump will be to keep all sides engaged without allowing the situation to spiral further out of control. He has made clear that defeating Hamas remains a worthy goal, but equally clear that America's partnerships and regional stability must not be sacrificed in the process. It is a delicate line to walk, one that will test both Washington's resolve and its diplomatic skill. As the dust settles from this strike in Doha, the world is reminded of the fragile balance between military action and diplomacy. One strike may eliminate a target, but it can also ignite a diplomatic crisis. For now, the United States is signaling caution. Allies matter, methods matter, and in this case, the White House believes Israel's decision has crossed a line.
Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. President Trump immediately directed Special Envoy Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did. The president views Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the United States and feels very badly about the location of this attack.